Thank you so much, Samson, and thank you for having me. Let me say good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers. And also, let me state here that I'm almost very much appreciative of what multimedia group of company is doing. When this issue came up, they were the first to contact me, and then, as it were, help in letting the populace know the extent to which this irresponsible mining, I don't this time want to even call it galamsey again or small scale mining, or they are all in the same soup. So I call them irresponsible mining. Irresponsible in the sense that most of the activities actually allow these heavy metals, which are very much incompatible with life, into our water bodies. They allow them into our soil, and now the effect is also being seen in humans. And so, therefore, I see it as irresponsible, and therefore, we have to be mindful of that and actually, what do we call it, work against that.
What brings you to the conclusion that this is a generational extinction? That's why it borders on. What brings you to that conclusion?
Well, yeah, it's true. Most of these things, like the heavy metals that are being inhaled, that are being ingested, and that are being having to have their way to our bloodstream, cause what we call irreversible damages, irreversible issues to the body. And these things, when they go in, they can pass on to others, especially if you inhale air that is polluted with all these heavy metals. In fact, what is going to happen is that mothers are going to continually be, giving birth to these children with all manner of deformities. And so these children, even though some of them may exist, or some of them may, for some reason, have the opportunity to live, but what sort of life are they living? They will living lives that are very uncomfortable, life that is not actually meant to be lived. And so, therefore, what is happening is that very soon we'll see human beings walking, but the person is not a whole human being, but rather partial human being. That's half a human being, because the brain might have been affected, the kidneys are affected, the liver is affected. Well, the brain is, like I said, is affected, the liver affected, the kidneys are affected, and in fact, all other reproductive organs, especially if you are a man, your sperms would have been affected, because these heavy metals find their way also into the very thing that causes us to even continue to reproduce. And then the women also have their gonads. I'm talking about the ovaries, and then their reproductive organs are also going to be affected. So naturally, we are going to see
people want to know how extensive your research has been. We are watching the deformed babies that you have preserved in formalin in the laboratory at the KNUST, the placentas that you have used to confirm empirically that mining areas, this is what is happening to the pregnant women and other people. How extensive is this research to be used to generalize in the manner being done?
Well, Samson, once again, thank you. I mean, the research is quite extensive in the sense that I have been able to cover about 5 regions where this illegal mining is being done with all its seriousness: Western region, Western North Central region, Eastern region, and Ashanti region. And I believe that I understand that now is being done in the northern part of Ghana too. Of course, I've not been there, and so if Ghana is made of 10 regions and I've been able to, occupy half, or been able to do half of the regions where these heavy illegal mining or responsible mining is being done, then I think it's quite extensive, especially if you look at the numbers, the number of placentas and the babies that have been able to get from them. And then, in fact, the very one that you saw is not the only baby that I have. I have some of them also, which of course I have to convince the affected family members to take samples of these deformed babies for teaching purposes and also for further tests to be done in almost all the organs, because some of them we did internal organs, but if you look at even the head, the nail bed, all of them are affected. And so therefore, I believe that is quite extensive. And of course, it's a research. And I will actually ask anybody who is also interested to pick other part of the research work and also go about it and then and see what can be done about that. So for me, I think it's quite extensive.
So this was revealed almost a year now. We understand that you have done extra work most recently. What does it reveal?
Well, the extra work, like you rightly asked me, how extensive, the extra work that I've been doing of late is that I have added some water bodies. And the water bodies that I did were also about the same 5 regions, to be precise. And these 5 regions, I picked some water bodies from these Galamsey sites right up to about 3.5 kilometers away from the Galamsey site. And the values that I had in terms of the heavy metal suspension in the water bodies are quite alarming. And so the work is all still ongoing. In fact, I'm still doing some work on placentas. Like I said, it's difficult sometimes in Ghana to understand and then to appreciate why people sometimes don't want to give things. For instance, these placentas that are being sent into the incinerators to be burnt, and you ask for it, and it's a problem. And so for some reason, those mothers who have passed on, in fact, those ones, because I have every right to continue with the diagnosis, I can sometimes take some of these placentas and be able to have a look at them. And so these placentas that I've done, which amounted to about maybe 50 or 70, 70 placentas, they are still showing this heavy metal. Some of them are having what we call fibrosis and then inflammatory processes going through the placenta while the baby is also in there. And so it's not something that we as Ghanaians will sit down and just look on, fold our arms and look on. There should be something done to actually avoid it. We shouldn't only be looking at the money that we'll get and then, look at what the profits that Ghana government seems to be getting, and then to the detriment of the humans that are going to use the very finances that the government is getting to, as it were, destroy us.
So this new research does not reveal any changes or any improvement since the last one?
No. It's rather worsening it.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. The values are getting worse. And then, in fact, the water bodies, once I did some survey on the water bodies, the values were quite significant, but not as hard or as big as I've seen of late. So the condition is not changing. The situation is not changing at all.
How do you go about this? It must involve a lot of money. How do you do it?
I do it all by myself. In fact, as a lecturer, it's part of our mandate that you research and then also contribute to society by giving your research findings out and so on and so forth. So it's nothing but
the vice president of the vice president